I don't think it matters.
That's not the point, right? I mean, it's one of those things where you're like, Mike Turian is actually famous for saying that he's not sure he's ever played a perfect match of Magic.
Right.
Like, in his entire career, he doesn't think he ever actually played a perfect match of Magic. Now, I'm sure he played matches where each individual mechanical play was correct, but there's so much, especially when you're playing live, about, just the nonverbal communication cues and the way you try to trick your opponent and read what they have in their hand and, represent the things that you have and get your mana right. A lot of stuff that almost never matters, but you know what? Sometimes it does matter. And, over the course of a long tournament, it's going to matter reasonably often, often enough to really make a difference. I think it's one of the differences between good and great players, in fact. I mean, I think Minamura actually probably is a great player, and he's probably just desperate going through the motions right there.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't think there's any way.
I mean, but isn't there a better chance that maybe he thinks that there's something there?
But it's like Hepke has to either be terrible, which seems unlikely given that he's playing for the championship or Pro Tour, or Hepke has to think Minamura is terrible, which just seems unlikely to me. I don't know. It was just a cute little, it was a poker moment, really. I mean, it was just cute little sort of bluff, tell, does he have it, does he have it, what level, how many levels are these guys thinking in one moment? A lot easier to pick up the tells when you can see their hands.
Sure.
Right. I could see that the card, Minamura actually was holding a Gorger Worm, too. That he had drawn Gorger Worm and chose not to play it. Because it doesn't help.
He just needs to have the mana up to represent something.
Right. He's dead unless he could somehow represent a card.
He's representing Fiery Ball, essentially, right? I mean, that's
right. So, but I mean, that part's right. If he plays Gorger Worm, then he essentially tells Hepke, I drew Gorger Worm that turn. Pretty interesting.
Hmm?
Yeah, holding Gorger Worm is actually pretty subtly correct, right? I'm just like, I don't know about, the fake tell was actually, I think, a tell.
Right. But maybe he just turns around and says, go. That looks, he tries to be very strong.
It's tricky.
That would also, you could also get the similar read off of that.
Yeah.
Say he's trying to act too strong there.
I don't know.
So, Obelisk of Alara.
Yeah, that card's good, by the way. The thing that really mattered, Obelisk of Alara.
Yeah. We've seen that snatch 2 games now.
For Hepke, yeah. But, I mean, the odds of him drawing it and having the time to tempo it out in both these next 2 games, not huge. And so far, it seems to be the only thing he's got that can beat Minamura.
Right.
Everything else, it's all coming up because
the Emberweavers, the Deadshot Minotaur, the Pingers.
Right. We haven't seen quite a spike.
We still haven't seen the quite a spike. Bancharm has really been just a phenomenal card.
It's good.
Subtly changed the race there.
It's true.
Kept him out of, Vengeful Rebirth range. Sure. An extra 2 damage.
Yeah, Hepke is playing really well. I mean, this does not look like a guy in his first Pro Tour ever.
Right? He's going to, jump into the Rookie of the Year lead?
Absolutely. Brian Robinson was previously in the lead, right?
Right, with 16 points.
He made, the semis in Kyoto?
He did. Right. And none of the rookies made the finals in Kyoto.
Does he have? He was in this. He made day 2 here, right?
He did make day 2. I think
Where did he finish?
Finished. I don't think he finished high in the points.
Late 70s?
Yeah, somewhere in the 70s.
So is that 3 points?
Yeah, right there, 77.
77. So is that? I think that's 3 points.
He's going to be right. Yeah, right around 20 points.
Right. 4 points maybe. Yeah, Minamura with a win is at 32 points, which I believe is 4th in the Player of the Year race. I think he's ahead of Nakamura, but 5 behind Saito, who's at 37.
And what do we
44 and 45 for David Ellis.
20 points for second place?
Second place is 20, yeah. So
at least a tie for the Rookie of the Year lead?
Yes. Yeah, Hepke, I believe, is tied for the Rookie of the Year race, unless he had any pro points. In the Grand Prix? Well, he picked up a point at the Grand Prix.
No, he did. He actually didn't. He top 8 Rotterdam.
Oh, yeah, he qualified for this with that top 8, right?
Right.
So, yeah, absolutely. He's already in the lead in the Rookie of the Year race.
Right.
Win or lose this match.
Sort of following the old CMU model.
Win the first Pro Tour.
Yeah, go to a Grand Prix, qualify, win the first Pro Tour.
There you go. I didn't queue in the Grand Prix, though. I won the PPQ the previous weekend. It's a relatively small number of people who have won their very first Pro Tour. But I mean, it's not uncalled for. It's happened, what, maybe half a dozen times?
I think,
I mean, obviously, PT number 1.
right.
Obviously. Ulirade did it, PT 3. I did it. Dirk did it. Farid Merengi did it.
Not it.
But there's a couple more. I mean, it's happened like maybe half a dozen times, I think. 7 or 8. So not unprecedented, but rare and pretty special. And I mean, those players in general have gone on to continue. I mean, Pro Tour 1's sort of an outlier. Like Ulirade, Hall of Fame. Dirk Dabrowski, Hall of Fame. I'm in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Those players tend to go. I mean, Farid didn't have a ton of results.
You know what? But Farid did get a second top 8.
He did.
He got a second top 8 in Amsterdam, which a lot of people forget.
Yeah.
I just don't think he fell off the tour after that first year.
Right.
He just didn't have a great follow-up year. But when he got back on, he made another top 8. So I mean, I think that somehow sort of legitimizes that first win a little more.
That's the point. And Hepke's playing great Magic. I mean, it is crystal clear to me that this guy is hanging out with really good Magic players.
He knows what he needs to do.
He's learned. He knows all the tricks. He's comfortable. He's confident, and he's not missing anything. He's got all his mechanics down. He's seeing the right plays, and he's playing really crisp Magic.
Yeah. Mulligan here from.
Hepke is not a rookie, I'm being told.
Oh, did he play? Oh, you know what? People saying it's his first Pro Tour, but he may have played at Worlds. He did have a 4th at his national.
Oh, Czech national team?
So I think he was 4th place. So if he played at Worlds, he's not a rookie.
Got it. So he listed himself as playing on his first Pro Tour. I'm going off his info sheet. But yeah, if you count, Worlds counts as a Pro Tour for most purposes, including this one. So I guess he's played Worlds as a member of the Czech
Sort of
national
weird
team.
corner cases where it doesn't count as a Pro Tour.
Yeah, it almost always does.
Yeah.
In general, it does. It's just it's market. It's more like PR purposes. Sometimes the press releases look a little different.
Okay.
So
Middlemore has kept his 6.
Brian Robinson can breathe a little easier. In fact, we were confused about Hepke's rookie status. He's not a rookie. He's played Worlds previously, which counts as a Pro Tour. He's not trying to join Dirk or Lay.
Middlemore with a little smile as they're going to both start on par with 6 cards.
How do you do with that Worlds? Do we have somebody who can figure out what his Worlds finish was?
Probably made day 2.
Yeah, number of times playing on Pro Tour, he said 1. I think I probably just misinterpreted that as this was the 1. Yeah, Czech national team, 2008.
Trey was national teams only 3 players last year, so he was the alternate.
But you get the Worlds invite.
Yep. I think that's what threw me on that.
Oh, Hepke does not look happy with that hand.
Island. See a forest.
2 islands, forest, what, no planes,
No
3 white
planes.
spells? I think it's 6, you probably have to keep that.
It's on the draw.
Yeah, especially if he's drawing. You keep that. Wave Skim or Aven, Death Duelist. And an Outlander, I think.
Keep.
Yeah.
The Outlander.
Yeah, you keep. I think that's right. Oh, green-white border post off the top. Cheer from the crowd is actually loud enough that they can hear it in the feature match area.
Not much of a hand for me tomorrow.
80th is the answer. Hepke finished 80th at Worlds in 2008. Yeah, that border post was exactly the card that Hepke wanted to draw off the top of the stack.
There's the Death Duelist.
Turns on his entire hand. Down comes Death Duelist.
Cycle Jungle Weaver. Hope for the best.
Boys in the crowd were pretty happy with
there's
that
a
one.
Vithian Stinger.
There's the Stinger, but Shroud still defeats Stinger. Saw this interaction in previous games.
Itchy.
Shroud was a really relevant mechanic this weekend. Very relevant to Constructed, too.
Wall of Denial.
Well, absolutely, Wall of Denial. You know, it's interesting. Gregoire was one of the Jun players that got into the top 8. They actually only ran 3 Maelstrom Pulses and 3 Terminates because so many people had put so many untargetable creatures in their deck. They're like, you really only want like half a dozen removal spells. You don't want to just be blood-braiding up dead removal spells all the time.
Yeah, we even saw
and they had no Celestial Purges, main or side.
Oh, that's very interesting. We saw LG Gariels even in some of the constructed decks.
So here's Outlander joining the Death Duelist in the beatdown.
Get in for 4.
4, I believe that drops Minamura to 14.
So he's going to have Wave Skim Raven online next turn. Carrying Thrash.
Next turn.
Yep. Put that on
Ban
the
shot.
bottom of your deck.
Here's his 1 removal spell. He uses it. He's playing this game tempo. Not going to save it to break up, acquire the spike. Not going to save it for something gigantic. Just wants to keep attacking for 4. Seems completely correct to me.
Whittemore is going to go down to 10 here. Here comes the Wave Skimmer.
Wave Skimmer Raven, 6 power. Whittemur's got nothing but a lone stinger in play. 6th land. But he says go. I haven't gotten a look at Minamura's hand. What is going on with it this game? Oh, 2 lands and a Sylvan Bounty. Not much.
You just play that here, right?
Yeah, it's an end step you play it. What an awful draw for Minamura. 8 lands, Sylvan Bounty, Stinger, and Jungle Weaver.
8 lands, 8 lands, 8 life. That's basically what he drew.
What a terrible draw. He did the right thing. Kept a hand that needed green mana, drew the green mana he needed, and smash. I do not see how Minamura can stitch his way back into this. I think we're going to game 5. Heck, he can't do this twice, can he? Okay, backlash on the Avens, plus a ping from the Stinger.
Oops, that still has not resolved.
He actually should have let it resolve. He wants to respond with his... I think he's got Resounding Wave. And what he wants to do is respond to the ping, but now he's sort of telegraphed the wave. Yeah, exactly. Minamura looks up, he's like, Oh. Yeah, exactly. No reason. He was tapping the Stinger preemptively.
Do it upkeep.
Oh, does it upkeep?
Make him use his mana.
Yeah, that's better.
Yes.
Yeah, Hebke missed that up. He should have just Resounding Waved his response. Like, if he sees the thing clearly enough, it was a mistake for Minamura to do that on his own turn. And Hebke could have taken advantage of it by bouncing right there. Was LSD 0-2 twice in Berlin? So all the way back both times?
There's a Resounding Wave. Sure. 5 clear damage here.
So yeah, if Hebke had just responded to Kazuya's first thing rather than slowing him down, he'd have untapped mana right now to be able to recast it. Just a little subtle thing, but...
Go.
And I don't know that it's going to matter. This game looks like a blowout for Hebke.
It's like the quietest spike.
Oh, interesting. Is that good enough?
Sure.
So, Minamura's at 7. Each creature's 2 power. No, one's a 1 power. So he does survive this turn. Kill something, untap, kill something else. Maybe.
Attack. Down 2.
Wave Skimmer Aiden. Actually, you take half his life now. So Stinger is now capable of taking half Hepke's life or killing any targetable creature on the table. Problem is, Nidomer is at 2. So
Draw.
there's just no way. He needed like Bloodbraid Elf into another blocker or something.
Attack.
Full-on attack here should get the job done, right? Violent Outburst. How lucky can we get with Cascade? Or does he have one too?
Hopefully a blocker. Yeah, and hopefully
Trace
not
was certainly
Trace.
not the card he's looking for. Outlander.
Outlander's a good one.
Yeah, Outlander's a great one. That'll kill the Duelist. Isn't he still dead, though? There's 2 different 2-power flyers.
Well, now he's got a
Look first.
Death Touch 1-power Stinger.
Yeah, but there's 2 flyers.
Right, he can only take.
He's at 2, and there's 2 flyers.
Oh,
What
you
am I
can't block the
missing?
flyers. Yes, you're right.
You can't block a flyer. He's literally, by 1 point of life, he's off.
No,
Yes.
2. Yeah.
Really close, but no, not good enough.
No.
Oh.
The second flyer gets the job done. We are going to game 5.
Wow.
Michael Hepke trying to come all the way back. 2 games apiece.
And that play actually almost very significant.
Which one?
The play of not.
Oh, the resounding wave.
No, not doing it at the end of his opponent.
Yeah, he lost
Do
the
it
turn
at
of
the end
tempo
his
there. He did lose the turn of tempo there.
opponent. Not sure what Midamora could have hit there that would have let him deal with the 2 flyers.
No, I don't know.
Like you said, I think he really needed the Bloodbraid Elf on his own turn.
Wow, we are going to play 1 game of Magic for $40,000.
We tuned in on Hepke in the semifinals.
He was down
He was
0-2.
down 0-2.
Came all the way back.
What was apparently a terrible matchup. It said
Allegedly.
a terrible matchup. He said, what I really need you to do is start on 5 cards. Game 5, his opponent started on 5 cards, and he advanced to the finals. He was down 0-2 to Midamora, the most experienced player in terms of top 8 competition. Looking to get the taste of a finals loss in Yokohama out of his mouth.
Yeah, Minamura is going to have trouble sleeping at night if he loses this. From up 2-0, his second trip to the finals, he really wants to finish this time.
We were kidding around earlier about, where would you rather play, up or down in games. Hefty Clue likes to play down.
Minamura does get to play first, though.
He's really looking for that opening he had in the first game where he Trace of Abundance into Bloodbraid Elf into an Ember Weaver.
Followed it up with a Brute and another Weaver.
I really like how Hebke's altered his deck for this matchup. I like how he's adjusted the dials.
No
Yeah.
start.
Yeah, 3 mana, 1 toughness creatures, not good against double stinger deck, that's for sure.
Just slowed it down a little bit.
Well, I mean, I think what's the best I can do? These are coming out. Now what do I have? Well, I have an Obelisk and a Resounding Wave. Those are the best cards I have. Ziggy draws up a hand, which has a lot of glare on it. Forest and a Mountain. Only 2 lands, but a couple Cyclers. That's certainly a keeper. 3 different cycling.
That's what he's done.
3 Cyclers.
Back to the well for Hepke.
Oof. They won the last game off 6. Kept 6. Top deck the border post he needed, and won game 4 kind of in a blowout.
I think more people lose to not mulliganing. There's a lot of stigma around mulligans, but
Got to do it.
it's we did the quick question tour. We talked to a bunch of different pros, and one of the questions we asked, a Twitter viewer had asked, Twitter follower said, what can I do to be a better Magic player? What are the tricks? And basically, to a man, everyone we interviewed said, be honest with yourself.
Okay.
So if you lose a match and it's because you didn't mulligan, you need to be honest. You don't have to go, oh, how unlucky I didn't draw land.
Right.
Right? It's like, oh, I honestly, I should have mulliganed that hand. That was a mistake I made.
Sure.
So, I think mulligans are,
Makes sense.
I don't want to say they're good. But mulliganing itself is the right thing to do.
Making good mulligan decisions is
Yeah.
good.
Absolutely. And I think it's the hardest part of the game to master.
Keep.
There we go.
All right, Hempy keeps 6. Court Homunculus.
Cycle a monstrous Keratin for tomorrow. Probably going to see him land cycle this turn. Pretty good mulligan draw for Hefke. He's going to have a Trailblazer on turn 3. He's probably going to have an Esper Cormorant on turn 4.
Go. Sure.
He's got a pass Prism in hand.
Yeah, that is a good draw. It's like decent draws for both players. It's good. Humorous land cycle Sylvan Bounty into, I think, Forest. Cool.
Mid-combat violent outburst for Goblin Outlander.
We shall see. Yeah, Homunculus comes in. That's exactly what Minamura's plan is. Here's Outburst. Oh, he would have drawn Blood